Peace and blessings all. You just tuned into another installment of the Blackpages Mixtape. As a matter of fact, this is volume 3 of the Blackpages Mixtape. It's a continuation of part 2 of the segment I like to call Reality of a Black Planet. I'm the voice of the Black Pages, Tahotep Asare, and I start this off as I start off all other introductions. As always, I first want to say free Malachi Kobe in New York. And I implore everyone listening to this to seek out the documentary Mysteries Behind Closed Doors. I repeat, Mysteries Behind Closed Doors. And I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube. If you Google it, you know, this is the age of technology, age of information. I'm pretty sure you can find it if you look for it. But I recommend YouTube. That'll probably be the easiest way to find it. And you'll understand why I always say, and I always start off these introductions in these segments this way, free Dr. Malachi Kobe in New York, and I will continue to start off these segments of every volume of this mixtape in that same way, because without Dr. York specifically, and men like Dr. York, there will be no Tahotep Asare. So just speaking for myself specifically, but it's not limited to myself, alright? So let's go into this thing a little bit. And you know, like I said, I'm known for doing a little intro. So since we are talking about the historical aspect of our people, let's just briefly talk about this so-called Black History Month thing. And I know I missed February. I know I kind of overshot February. So, you know, better late than never, as they say. And I just want to clarify one thing before I even go into anything. I personally don't speak for or as a representative of the United NUWAUBIANS worldwide, but I do pay homage to Dr. York. So everything said in the Black Pages is not something put out from that organization specifically. So if anybody has anything negative to say about the mixtape, this is not a mixtape put out by the United NUWAUBIANS worldwide. This is a mixtape put out by Tahotep Asare. So if anything negative has to come about this, y'all reflect that back on me and not the organization personally. But I put this mixtape out. It's a reaction, and not a it's not a reaction, but a response to our current situation in the world, and specifically right here in Duval County. First, Black History Month, or Black His Story Month, is a Caucasian perspective of a small, humiliating portion of our history on this planet. As we discussed a little bit earlier, we have millions of years of history. So how can someone who only has about 6,000 years of history be qualified to teach us about our history? So Black History Month is for Caucasians, so they don't feel so bad for all the stuff that they've done, you know, slavery and everything like that. And it's for whitewashed Negroes who subscribe to the Caucasian perspective of our history, so they'll feel pacified. All right? And if anybody remembers part 2 of the Black Pages, and I hope you do, because this is just a continuation of part 2, where I was going into Stockholm Syndrome. And if anybody can reflect back on that, this ties directly in with what I was speaking about in the first intro. Okay, this is not meant to sound racist, it's just meant to sound true. And again, I'm a very blunt young man, and I'm just keeping this straight to the point. I'm not talking about or writing about anything that didn't really happen. You know, I'm not making up anything. I'm not embellishing upon anything. Everything I tell you in these Black Pages, you can go on the internet, go to your library, go wherever, and go get the research, and you're going to see somebody else say the same thing that Tahotep Asare is telling you. So, I'm not trying to sound racist. I'm just telling the truth. If it didn't happen this way, if it wouldn't happen this way, I wouldn't be talking about it. So, personally, I don't hate nor do I advocate racial hatred, because, you know, that's a weight that a person puts on their heart that is very unhealthy for them. But because, you know, as African people, we're loving people. You know, they hung a white Jesus on our wall for years, and grandma was still groveling and worshiping white Jesus, you know, after getting beat with whips and, you know what I'm saying, all this crap. You know what I'm saying, the slavery aspect that we harp on year after year, you know, all that whole situation like that, we were still worshiping the white Jesus. So when we can uncover archaeological facts and accurate history to determine that we are the gods of the planet, or we've been the gods of the planet this whole time, we just ask for the same respect. That's all. But honestly, I don't advocate racial hatred, like I was saying, but once an African actually would do the research and come to the racial remembrance of who he actually is, frankly, it will piss you off. It's not about hatred, because to tell you the truth, most whites don't know these facts either. because they go to the same universities that we go to. They taught about, Socrates and, Pythagoras being the father of mathematics. How you the father of mathematics and these niggas over here done built pyramids? You understand that? Babylonians, they dealing with astrology and all kind of stuff. And, they hydraulic engineering and everything, but you the father of mathematics. It makes no sense. But at the same time, they exposed to this same fictitious history that we exposed to. So it's up to us as the oldest people of the planet, and to tell you the truth, the guardians of the planet, to really take responsibility and set the record straight, as it's been said. Because like I was about to say, it's not about harping on the problem, it's about the solution and getting our own. It's about organizing our communities and planning generations ahead. It's about the children. And when I say planning generations ahead, if we can reflect back on like that Willie Lynch doctrine. On the Willie Lynch doctrine, they were saying that the main target was the women and the children, because the women produce the children and the women are the first teachers of the children. So those were the major targets, and as they try to kill us with the food and with all this social engineering and everything like that, they plan generations ahead. They're not trying to get me and you, they're trying to get the kids. So that's something to think about, and I implore everybody to seek out a series of books, soon to be one whole volume, called Dr.york, The Way, by Dr. Malachi Kobe in New York. He addresses things of that nature as far as our culture and as far as the solution to a lot of our situation and a lot of our problems. And who you are, not what you accept. Now that's a scroll from the actual fact book series. I implore everyone to also check that out. It breaks down who we are as African people versus the things and the ideologies that we actually accept and adhere to. Just because you accept something, that doesn't mean that that's who you are. I don't care if you try to be a caveman or something like that, you're still an African, you're still a god of the planet, and thus you have that same responsibility to be as such. Okay? And when I say planning, when we say planning ahead, we mean amongst ourselves in our communities. Not on national TV like the Reverend Al Sharpton would have us to do. That's just buffoonery. That continues to perpetuate this whole thing where we become a laughing stock of the whole world. I mean, who does that? Just like Khalid Muhammad was saying, you don't have Negro leaders anymore. You just have Negro brokers. So, we have to be mindful of this, and we have to do what's in the best interest of our people, because everybody else does. Okay? And lastly, when you say Black History Month, okay, just to touch on this, it's just like saying it's a black Santa Claus. If Santa Claus was really black, you wouldn't add black in front of it. You would just say Santa Claus and his race would be understood. So by adding black in front, you're acknowledging that Santa Claus isn't really black, but you're just making him black. The same thing about Black History Month. They're really saying this isn't real history, so let's give them back his story altogether and start telling our story. And by the way, Saint Nick, and just to touch on this just briefly, I'm not going to harp on it, Saint Nick is another name for the devil. And it's volumes of information and literature you can read up about the fallacy of Christmas and everything like that. But Saint Nick is really the devil. If anybody remembers the movie with, I believe, Adam Sandler, where he plays the devil child, Little Nicky, yeah, it's along those lines. But neither here nor there. So let's wrap up our second part of Reality of a Black Planet, Volume 3, Blackpages Mixtape. I hope y'all enjoy this.